Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Town Supervisor Joseph D. Cavaccini. I am joined here today by my colleagues in government and in law enforcement. I'll start with our Senator Rob Rolison, our New York State Assemblyman Anil Bipan, Village Mayor Kevin Huber, and Dutchess County Legislator Robert Faust. Ladies and gentlemen, over the past few months, our town, in particular the town of Wappinger, has seen a number of horrific accidents and reckless acts across our town. Let me be perfectly clear. We will not tolerate any of this disgusting behavior that we saw yesterday or that we've seen the past weeks. This disregard for law in the town of Wappinger has no place here in our community. Yesterday afternoon, approximately 40 masked individuals made their way through the town of Wappinger and the village of Wappinger Falls, causing a number of accidents, surrounding a New York State trooper, attempting to steal his cruiser, and fleeing the scene of an accident, as well as stealing his hat. Again, folks, we have zero patience for these actions. Not just yesterday's incident, but the weeks and months of individuals speeding up and down Route 9, recklessly driving and causing havoc throughout our community. We continue to support all members of law enforcement and continue to work with them. I have personally been in touch with Dutchess County Sheriff's Office and our representatives at the New York State Police for additional patrols, additional vigilance when it comes to enforcing vehicle traffic law here in the town of Wappinger and preventing this from happening again. At this time, I'd like to call up New York State Senator Robert Rolison.
Mr. Supervisor, thank you. And what I saw this morning after waking up, the video of the incident in the village of Wappingers involving the New York State Police, and I want to commend the New York State Police for showing great restraint considering what they were up against yesterday, being surrounded with members on these motorcycles who were overly aggressive. That could have been a much different situation, but by the professionalism of New York State Police, there were no injuries to any of the police officers there or the individuals that were causing this mayhem, other than the self-inflicted injuries I think that some of them may occurred during an accident that took place. As many of you know, I was mayor of the city of Poughkeepsie for 7 years. What we saw yesterday that went viral is something that many communities, the city of Poughkeepsie being one, city of Newburgh in our region, and urban centers throughout the state have been dealing with from COVID right on through to today. 30, 40, 50 motorcycles, ATVs, unlicensed, unregistered, uninsured, being driven unsafely by individuals who have no regard for anyone else's life, including their own. And what happened yesterday is just absolutely intolerable. In October of last year, I introduced a bill in the New York State Senate, 7717A, which would give district attorneys and judges greater leeway when it comes to reckless driving. Now, that bill has not moved, but it needs to move, because what we saw yesterday is going on all over the place. Our highways, both state, county, and local, are not racetracks. They are not places where individuals and families need to take their life in their own hands when they're going about their everyday business. I don't think there's probably anyone that will be listening to this information that we're giving out today that has not seen it and has not seen it on multiple occasions. We have people that are driving aggressively on ATVs, motorcycles, off-road vehicles, and cars. What I worry about, if this has been going on, when is it gonna stop? And what I would say to you, respectfully to everyone, is that the only way it's going to stop is when people are held accountable, those vehicles are taken off the highways and impounded until such behavior can be brought down a little bit. I mean, there has to be enforcement. And again, I commend local law enforcement for doing a great job against difficult odds. And what we saw yesterday has brought it to another level, because I'll end with this. If these types of individuals who are driving these vehicles recklessly are going to confront a New York State trooper in the way that they did, what are they going to do to a regular motorist? Think about that. So I know we have others here that feel similarly, but we need the state legislature to act on this bill to hold people accountable. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Huber, Mayor of the Village of Wappingers Falls. Just got a few words to say. This is the kind of disgusting behavior that will not be tolerated in our village. As a first responder, I condemn the activity that will continue to work with our police and law enforcement to prevent this from happening. I just want to say thank you.
Well, good afternoon. My name is AJ Bipan. I'm the assemblyman for this district, the area where this incident occurred. As the senator mentioned, this is not something that's new to Dutchess County. It's not new to New York State. What we see transpiring in our community for the first time here in Wappinger is because of years of bad behavior that's been happening in Albany, bad policy making and bad decisions by supermajorities. So this morning I sent a letter to the governor's office asking her for two things. One, for more resources for our state police officers to find, apprehend, and arrest those involved with yesterday's incident in hopes of preventing something like this from happening again in our community. And two, my unequivocal support of her proposal for a statewide mask ban. These individuals were masked. That's part of the reason why we can't identify them. That should not be something that's tolerated in the state post-COVID. It's time to restore law and order to our state. I look forward to supporting my colleagues that believe in the same. Thank you for Supervisor Cavaccini and Mayor Huber for their efforts handling the situation locally. And I will say I reached out to the state police. The officer is doing well. From what I know of him, he is someone that loves to be out in the community, loves doing his job, and I truly hope he gets back to that, doing that very soon. Thank you all for being here today.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Robert Faust, Legislative District 15. I'm also the chair of Public Safety within the county legislature. A little background on myself. I did a 23-year law enforcement career. And in my first term, like I said, I became the Public Safety chair. We've been working with our partners to secure funding for the Real-Time Crime Center to combat this type of crime. We need real-time crime here in Dutchess County. It's an absolute disgrace what went on yesterday. And I'm grateful the New York State Police and the Village of Wappinger, everybody's okay. And I look forward to working with our partners to get this real-time crime center up and running to make it a safer county. Thank you.
Thank you, Legislator. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our conference today, and we thank you very much for coming out. Thank you.
Anyone want to say anything about the response of?
Well, as I said, I mean, I think the actions of the officer involved there initially are absolutely commendable, given the circumstances that he found himself in, and to be surrounded like that by obviously aggressive individuals who weren't really caring the fact that he was a member of the law enforcement community. I commend him, absolutely commend him.
I absolutely commend him as well. Again, it's easy to Monday morning quarterback a difficult situation like this. But I think that he handled it as well as he could, especially being surrounded in such a very, very difficult situation where he was really under siege in that situation.
And just to add to that, for those commenting online, because we know that keyboard warriors like to talk, claiming that his actions were restrained, well, I can tell you this, it's not because of his decision-making on the ground. In fact, his decision-making kept him safe as well as handled the situation with courage and leadership. It's actually the policy making out of Albany that has restrained his actions, both on the ground and with the pursuits that happened later on.
Again, I think that the bigger issue here is not only what happened yesterday, but what I touched on earlier was the weeks and months of this reckless driving. We just recently had a motorcyclist killed here in the town of Wappinger on Route 9, and he caused horrific impacts, to the health and welfare of an individual who he crashed into. Following that, there was then, a memorial in his memory in which there was additional reckless driving happening. Earlier in the year, we had an individual who lost a limb due to, these acts. At the end of the day, we all need to remain vigilant. We need to be aware of those around us and just take into account basic vehicle and traffic law. We should not be, speeding and going 100 miles an hour down Route 9 and encroaching and risking the safety and welfare of our neighbors.